Welcome into Seahawks Today, and it is a live edition here on a Thursday in the best month of the year, October. Why is October the best month of the year? Well, that's because it's host of Seahawks Today, Will Ortner's birthday month. I'm not one of those crazy people who celebrates my entire birthday the entire month, but I do think it's important to make sure that I mention that to everyone here. I want to make sure that we get a spam of C going on in the chat right now. There are 50 viewers hanging out, real ones, having a great time with myself and the most important man of the hour. Cullen is back. He's producing with us today on the live, and he'll be back for the watch party on Sunday. So make sure that you give Cullen a hearty C in the chat down below. How you doing, Mr. Cullen?
Doing well, Will. Doing well. Appreciate being back on the show. I mean, it's always good to hang out with my fellow 12s. And listen, we've got a very big game. 2, 3, and 1 NFC teams that really could be a playoff determining game. Let's face it. I mean, it's a big game for Seattle and Tampa Bay, and I'm excited. I'm going to be back for the watch party. We've had great times during the preseason. Obviously, we were hanging out for Week 1, and now here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dynamic duo is back, so I'm ready. I'm excited. We still got some good content for you today, though, that we're going to get into. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a great time. Shout out to Max in the chat. Shout out to Daniel, Dwayne, Roman, Justin,
Austin. Shout out to you, Dwayne. Good to see you. Shout out Father May, Danny. Danny's got some takes on the Seahawks. Ooh, maybe Danny will make it into our Q&A later. I see that Ian and Pablo have been talking not only about the Seahawks, but also about the Seattle Mariners. Hey, this may come as a shock to you, but not only are Cullen and I Seahawk fans, we're the Mariner fans here at Chat Sports. So yes, we are doing some advanced scouting right now. We do have the Tigers-Cleveland game up. Maybe we'll have a conversation about that during one of the little breaks in between the couple of segments that we have going on today. There are 50 of you in here right now. There are only 10 likes. You like the Seahawks. You like Seahawks Today. You want to make sure that you go in and you smash that thumbs up button. It's also important for you to know, remember, a couple of you guys have been here before, and I want to make sure that those of you who haven't know, at the end of the show, we do a mailbag. So, if you want to be on the show here on Seahawks Today, if you have a burning question about your Seattle Seahawks that you need answered by myself or by Cullen, you're going to use the hashtag Seahawks and send that question in the chat right now. Now, remember, we can only pick a few people. So, if you're worried about your your question getting through, you can super chat. That's like a fast pass that'll jump you all the way to the front of the line. We haven't here on a Seahawks live edition of Seahawks Today since I've taken over had someone use the fast pass to get their question on the show. It'd be pretty cool if you ended up being the first person to do that. Maybe there could be something nice coming your way there. Coming up on today's show, we've got 3 segments. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk about how the Seattle Seahawks can win this football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We also have the latest injury reports from both teams. I don't know if you know this, little teaser, little hint. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a walking mass unit right now. Walking mass unit. Cullen and I, every day, we come in did you see this guy didn't practice? Did you see this guy's on the injury report? It's absolutely insane. And then, of course, we talked about the mailbag that we have cooked up for you today. So right now, I don't want to dive too quickly into anything crazy, but I do want to let Cullen know because he's been gone for a little bit. He's been, he's doing his main job. Every once in a while, I get to pull Cullen back in. Every once in a while, I get to say, Cullen, I need you. I need your help. Help me. You're my only hope. And Cullen gets to come and hang out with us, and I'm always grateful for that. So what Cullen doesn't realize is just how much the show has been growing. We've been jumping up here at Chat Sports, and we've been taking on the 49ers report for the last week. Now, why have we been doing that? Well, they're the only other team in the NFC West here that is covered by Chat Sports.
Yes.
They're the only other channel that's even big enough. I guess I should say the only team that's big enough to be covered here at Chat Sports. So it's Seahawks, it's 49ers, that rivalry. Now, 49ers Report is a big channel here. That's a big deal. They have a great host, Chase Sr., doing a great job. And I thought, why don't we go into a subscriber battle? How can we bring in the most amount of Seahawk fans in to watch our content this month and, frankly, through the entire year? So for the last week, we've been going in a subscriber battle, and I just want to shout you guys out and say thank you, thank you, thank you. When you're attacking, yes, hand.
Round of applause.
Give
round
a hand. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Love that.
What you don't realize is that 49ers Report almost has 100,000 more subscribers than we do here at Seahawks Today. Not for long, but for right now, that's where it is. So you not only came out and made sure that you were subscribed to the channel, but you brought your friends along as well. So right now on the week, we are ahead of the 49ers Report by, quick math, 30 subscribers. So I want to say thank you, and I appreciate all of you. And if you have a friend that loves Seattle Seahawks football, make sure that you send them our way. Now, I'm ready for the first segment. Colin, are you ready for the first segment?
I am so ready for this first segment.
Here's the problem. I don't think the chat's ready for the first segment.
I don't know.
Because right now, there's 57, oh my goodness, there's 60 viewers of you right now in the channel. But we only have 27 likes. I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think we need to get those like numbers up because if you're here, you love Seattle Seahawks football. And we are going to talk about how the Seahawks will win on Sunday. But I can't do that until you like the stream. What do you say, Colin? What's a fair number? 35?
35. I was thinking that exact number. 35 works for me.
I love that. 35 likes. And we will start our first segment. I already see Max, Brad Everson in the chat. Good job. Nice to see you. Love it. Yes, the M's rock. Daniel, I want to make sure I got that to you. Ian, yep, the Tigers are winning. I think we might end up playing the Detroit Tigers. I see Daniel already in the chat getting his questions off. Isaac Hooper's here hanging out. Just got off work. Love that. Forrest, I don't know if you can like twice. You try and you let me know because I love that. Killa Dom is in the chat. What's up? JZ Vid, shout out. TJ Smith, go Hawks and go Wildcats. What Wildcat team? Are you talking Arizona Cardinals? Or not Arizona Cardinals, Arizona
University.
Thank you. No, they're the Bearcats. Are they the Bearcats? They say Bear Down.
Yeah, they are. They are.
What
Bearcats.
are they?
I think that's what they are. Wildcats. So you're not Kentucky, or are you Kentucky?
Maybe Kentucky.
Maybe Kentucky.
Maybe. Ooh, you know who he could be shouting out? TJ. I didn't even think about this. This is how silly I am. It might be the Central Washington Wildcats. My alma mater.
Could be.
The great Central Washington Wildcats. So they're going to be down here in 3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks. They're going to be in my neck of the woods. I can't wait to go and check them out. 53 viewers. Colin, we said 35 and we'll get started. They smashed that number. Shout out to each and every single one of you. Give you guys a hand. We're at 45 likes right now on the stream. That's beautiful. See, hey, I knew. TJ, I got there eventually. Talking about the Central Washington Wildcats. Go Cats. See woo, baby. Absolutely love it. Joey's in from Newcastle. This is an international show. Absolutely love that. We're going to get into our first segment here. It is on why your Seattle Seahawks will win on Sunday. If X, Y, Z and happens. I'll let you know what those things are when we jump right here into the video. The Seattle Seahawks will win today if they follow my keys to victory. If the Seattle Seahawks do the 4 things that I think are most important, I think you're going to see another Victory Monday here on the channel and us celebrating back-to-back victories. Now, don't jinx it. Keep the streak alive. Your Seattle Seahawks are going for their 4th straight victory in a row. You want to make sure that you go up and you smash that like button to help get the Seahawks to another victory. I am your host of Seahawks Today, Will Ortner, and I'm going to tell you what the Seattle Seahawks need to do to win. You might be sitting at home right now what can the Seahawks do to get this victory? And I have gone through the game plan. I have watched film. I've seen the All-22. I've been reading the latest news, injury reports, rumors, everything that is surrounding your Seahawks versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in Lumen Field, Week 5, playoff atmosphere, and I've come up with 4 keys to victory for your Seattle Seahawks. The first key to victory here is you need to stop Baker. Now, that's easy to say. Hey, you go into any game, any week in the NFL, hey, if you stop their quarterback, you'll win a game. Here's the thing. Tampa Bay, they've got one dude, and it's the guy right behind me. And that's not a shot at any of the other players right now working at Tampa Bay. It's because everybody else is out. Everyone else is hurt. Right now, they're a walking mass unit. You don't believe me? Let's run down the list of key players that they got. Mike Evans, you're not going to see him in this game. I don't believe it. He's working on a hamstring strain right now. He suffered it a couple weeks ago, so he was supposed to originally be out 3 to 4 weeks. He's only missed 1 week so far, didn't play last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. That puts him on the trajectory to be back, not this week, at the fastest next week. If he goes out there, what's he going to do? He can't run. It's a hamstring. He's an older player. Hamstrings are the type of injuries that stay with you, not just for 1 week, 2 weeks. They stay with you for a lifetime. And when you're in a wide receiver position where you have to run all the time, your hamstring better be ready to go. You're not going to see Mike Evans. So there's one weapon down. Bucky Irving, in kind of the shock, at least the shock to my Twitter sphere, was on Monday when it turned out that Todd Bowles was having his basic State of the Union address. You would say, hey, this is what's going on with our team here, the injuries that we're dealing with. He had to come out and say, hey, Bucky Irving's going in to get an MRI, and we're worried about him. Right now, he's a sprained foot. He's been in a boot for most of the week. He wasn't out at practice on Thursday. No one even saw him. Todd Bowles basically said he wasn't going to worry about it until Friday, but if Bucky Irving was in a boot on Friday, don't expect him to play. I don't expect to see the former Oregon Duck running back on Sunday, and it's a bigger loss than people give it credit for. A lot of people don't understand the skill and how much this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense relies on Bucky. You can go through the stats here by StatMuse on this tweet. In weeks 2, 3, and 4, Bucky Irving led the NFL in total touches and total yards. Now, when you look at his pure rushing stats, when you look at his pure receiving stats, nothing is going to jump off the page to you. But that's because Tampa Bay spreads the ball around. They get Bucky Irving the ball in space. They flip the ball out to him. Hey, they might run the ball with him 12 to 13 times in a game. They're going to make sure that they find him in swing passes, little Texas routes, angle routes, things like that, because Bucky Irving is the modern-day running back. He can catch the ball as well as run the football. Losing Bucky Irving is a huge piece to this offense, and it knocks down another key cog into why they have been so successful this year. The next we're going to look at is Tristan Wirfs. Now, I believe that Tristan Wirfs is going to play, but obviously he missed a lot of time in the preseason, and he missed a couple games early in the year because he was dealing with a knee injury, working his way back. Now, he did sit out or was a limited participant in most of the practices this week, and that's not really that unexpected. Wirfs is the type of player where, hey, I just want to make sure he's out, he's playing, and the practice stuff, you can worry about that later. He's been in the system long enough to know what he needs to do, right? So with Wirfs being hurt, that doesn't mean you can't still take advantage of him there on the edge, right? Now's the perfect time to unleash Uchenna Nwosu. Dude had 2 sacks in the last game for you. Boye Mafe, he's one of the top 10 pass rush win rate guys right now in the NFL. So when I look at these edges, and you're telling me that one of the better O-linemen for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is beat up, he's fighting some demons, I freaking love that. I love how much this edge room can eat. Even Baker missed some practice time this week for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So even the guy that I'm saying is the only way that you lose if Baker Mayfield goes and does some Baker Mayfield you-know-what, even he's dealing with a bicep deal and a shoulder deal. So if you are able to get pressure on Baker early, use those edges we just saw the depth chart of. If you can get after Baker, make his life a misery, make him run around. If you can clamp down on these wide receivers, Emeka Egbuka is going to be the main one that you need to stop. Steelacum's finest has been fantastic this year. He was the rookie of the month, just got announced today. If you're able to stop Emeka, stop Baker, Seahawks are going to be pretty happy on later on today. And you're going to be happy on Monday when you're tuning in to this show, watching Seahawks Today, and we're talking about how we can be Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl winners. I want to make sure that you go in and show some love. We're going to talk about this Seahawks injury report. We're also going to talk about how the Seahawks can win this game. Frankly, we're going to talk about how well this defense can play if they're able to create some turnovers here in a second. So make sure you show some love to that defense that Mike McDonald has created. Go down below in the comments and spam that D button. The next key to victory, I already kind of teased it when I was saying we're going to talk about the defense, and you need to force turnovers. You have done a great job this year at knowing when to take a risk. Your defense has known and picked their spots almost perfectly. I'm going to say there was one where you weren't perfect, where when the defensive back or the linebacker said, hey, I can go intercept this ball and made a play on the ball, they did. They almost came down with it every single time. Baker Mayfield, he has 1 interception on the year right now. Sounds kind of like Kyler Murray last week. Guess how many interceptions Kyler Murray has on the year now? He's got 3 of them. Let's do the same thing to Baker. When you look at the interception leaders here for your Seattle Seahawks, it is funny that Ernest Jones leads the way for you with 2 interceptions. But look at the other 3 guys. Darian Kendrick, Kobe Bryant, Josh Jobe. You've got your starting nickel, you've got your starting outside cornerback, and you've got Kobe Bryant, who's absolutely playing with his hair on fire at that safety spot. I think Darian Kendrick has played himself into a position where you don't even have to bump Devin Witherspoon to the outside now. I was watching some Daniel Jeremiah film breakdown of the Seahawks, and he kind of pointed to, it's why Reek Witherspoon's on the trading block, of Seattle is clearly making the choice to either go with Nick Emmanwori as the big nickel or Darian Kendrick as the nickel, allowing Devin Witherspoon to stay on the outside and basically making Reek Woolen obsolete. Now, Baker can be his own worst enemy. What do I mean by that? When you look at Baker Mayfield's stats so far on the year, Baker Mayfield is completing the football at under 60% right now. Now, does Baker Mayfield go out and make some insane plays? Yes, he does. In fact, this Tampa Bay team last week should have been blown out by Philadelphia, but because of that man that's on the screen right now, they were in that game late. But instead of throwing the football away late, Baker Mayfield tried to fit a ball into a spot that was not open, and he threw an interception. His first interception on the year. Force him to do this. Use your defensive line to get after Tristan Wirfs. Get into the backfield. Get up early on Tampa Bay. If you can get this game rocking, you can get this game rolling. The stadium is loud. Everything is shaking inside Lumen. Baker is going to eventually turtle. Turn him over multiple times, giving your offense stolen possessions. If this offense led by Sam Darnold gets stolen possessions, you're going to win a lot of football games, and you're going to win this one specifically. I have 2 more reasons that I want to talk about why your Seattle Seahawks can win this football game. But before I do that, I need to talk about today's proud sponsor. That sponsor is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long. So now this Sunday, I have a 3-pick power play cooked up. Hey, sounds like there's going to be some injuries for Baltimore. Derrick Henry, more than 86.5 rushing yards. Your Seattle Seahawks, Cooper Kupp doesn't have a touchdown. More than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Sam Darnold, 237.5 passing yards. More against this Tampa Bay Bucs defense. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, the third key to victory here for the Seahawks is your special teams unit. Aside from one missed field goal, I feel like you have to be pretty impressed with how the special teams have played in Seattle. Your kick return has been great. Punt return, Torrey Horton took one back already, right? And that missed field goal, guess what? Jason Myers makes up for it later on in the game by kicking that game-winning field goal against the Arizona Cardinals. When you look at Tampa Bay, man, they suck. There's no easier way to say it than that. They're not good at special teams, where Seattle is one of the best in the NFL. We have a picture that we're going to pop up here for you, and I'm going to explain it just a little bit better than what the picture shows. So the expected points on special teams, you want to be at the top, and you want that number going towards the right. Essentially what this is saying is when your special teams is out there on the field, are you making more good plays and putting your team in a position to earn points or, frankly, get points yourself? Or is your special team setting up other teams to get points? The Seahawks right now are number 1 in the NFL in expected points on special teams. That's because of Torrey Horton's return for a touchdown. That's because of Derek Young's big kickoff return. That's because of the blocked punt that you had by DeAnthony Bell, right? So you go through the list of what Seattle has done in special teams, and it is translated to directly points for that special teams unit, as well as lead to points for drives later on. When you look at the very bottom, it's really hard to see. You got to squint because that number is so big. You're going to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why do you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because they make mistakes on their special teams. They lost by 1 score in their last game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, I understand that was a little bit on the offense for not getting going early. It's a little bit on the defense for not stopping the Eagles. But at one point, the Philadelphia Eagles scored a special teams touchdown, and it was the first touchdown of the game because they blocked a punt. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not value special teams. Special teams is 1/3 of the game, and they make a ton of mistakes in that unit. Now, some of that is because they have a ton of injuries, so you're already supposed to play backups on special teams. Now you're playing your backups backup, so that's a problem. But more importantly, they just don't have the attention to detail to get the job done. You do. Harbaugh's been great as your special teams coordinator. Take advantage when you can. I would love a blocked kick to go our way. I would love a missed lane assignment go our way and let Torrey Horton or Derek Young get loose. Take advantage of the mistakes that they offer you on special teams because they will. My last key to victory, it's you. It's the 12s. We saw what can happen when that place gets rocking and rolling. The Seattle Seahawks used to have the best home field advantage in the entire NFL. When it was Legion of Boom days, that place in Lumen, used to be called CenturyLink, was rocking. It was loud. You literally caused earthquakes. We need to get back to that. We need to stop allowing opposing teams from coming into our building, buying tickets, and bragging about how they got in your head. It needs to be done. You saw what happens when your team gets up early. The Seattle Seahawks get rolling, and that place gets loud. Other teams just quit. It's what the New Orleans Saints did. I think this game could get ugly, especially if the Seahawks are able to get on Tampa Bay early. The reason why it would get ugly is because you would get rocking. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers would jump off sides a couple times. They start yelling at each other. They turn the ball over. All of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, your Seattle Seahawks are up 2-3 scores, and all Tampa is doing is fighting amongst themselves. There are so many different ways that the Seahawks can win this game, and they need you to be there. Because I know it's week 5, but this is a playoff game, and it needs to be treated as such. Do not let this game get away from you, because if it does, and the Seahawks miss the playoffs again by 1 game, this will be the game that we come back to and say, what were we doing there? Just think about what happened when the Seahawks fell short last year and they lost to the Rams. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Make sure that you go and you like this video. If the Seahawks are able to stop Baker Mayfield, force turnovers, the special teams unit takes advantage of Tampa Bay's subparness on that side of the football, on that 1/3 of the game, and most importantly, if you get loud in the stadium and you get loud at home, we're going to help bring the Seahawks to a 4th straight victory. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you're getting your questions in to the live stream.
Let's go.
Man, that was fantastic. I'll tell you right now, Colin, it was hard. I'm over here trying to do the show. Colin, you're killing it with the producing, but I see the chat. I have the chat right down below me. I saw it just spiking, spewing Seahawks takes, getting in, using the hashtag Seahawks so that you fans knew you could be on the show. I freaking love it. It's hard to pay attention. I'm over here trying to give you reasons why the Seahawks are going to win, but you're over here giving me reasons why I need to have a conversation with you guys. I love that you guys are being an active part right now in the chat. That's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, got questions from Max, Daniel, Jay-Z Vids. I mean, listen, you guys want to get on the show. I mean, they're doing their part. They're just using the hashtag Seahawks feature, and they're going to be featured on a future Mailbag episode.
Yes.
Here at Seahawks Today. It could be any question. It could be a game question about the game, question maybe about one of the Seahawks players, maybe some trade targets for the Seahawks. You maybe want to ask about Will. Ask him anything Seahawks related. This guy knows his stuff. Ask some questions. It could be anything. Hashtag Seahawks for life. I also did, Will, see some chatter about the Mariners. And, of course, this game that's going on right now.
There is some chatter going. That was the other hard part. I got the game over here. I've got the fans down here. It's a whole thing. And someone lowered my TV. That's okay. So I'll tell you right now, we have some of the best fans here at Chat Sports. Right now, we've got some great ones. Shout out to Big Ed. Love that. Dwayne, how you doing? Camille, good to see ya. Proud 12. Love that. Daniel, he promises, he's our MVP right now, by the way. Shout out Daniel.
Let's go.
Daniel promises to leave his voice at Lumen. I have been to Lumen twice. Both in the little lulls. So for whatever reason, I can afford tickets when the Seahawks are in lulls. So I got the Jim Mora year. I got to go to a game during the Jim Mora year.
Nice.
And I got to go to the snow game on it. It ended up being the day after Christmas.
Nice.
I think I ended up going to that one. So it's Seahawks and Bears.
Ooh.
Yep. And Jimmy Graham caught a touchdown in that one, I think, to seal it. It was loud.
Yep.
I can only imagine how loud Lumen will be with how good our Seattle Seahawks have been playing.
Yeah. No, Lumen's always going to be rocking, and you just got to bring it, right? The Reds do every day in terms of fan bases and getting loud and getting proud, and I know the 12s are going to show out. So I can't wait to see how the fans represent on Sunday. And listen, I want to ask a question here, Will. Get a little temperature check, if you will.
Ooh.
What's one positive takeaway? We're quarter way through the season, roughly. Not perfect percentages. What's your kind of one big positive takeaway? It could be something that maybe you were expecting, maybe you didn't expect. What's one positive of this Seahawks team that you're just, you want to kind of give credit to or want to make known?
Heck yeah. So Colin, I'm going to come back to you because you got to make sure, since you're the one who came up with the question, I feel like you have a burning answer. I feel like you got something going on in there. Here's what I'm going to say. Right now, my biggest positive takeaway is Byron Murphy II. You came in and you drafted a guy who was said to be the best defensive player, not the best defensive lineman, not the best interior defensive lineman, the best defensive player in his draft class. And last year he was fine. He was fine. There's nothing wrong with what he was doing. He was fine. He would have played on every single team. So most he would start. Some he would have been a backup. He was fine. You don't use a draft pick in the first round to get someone who's fine.
Right.
He's proven this year that he's more than just fine, man. That year 1 to year 2 leap is unbelievable. He's already got more sacks than he ever has in his entire career. And I think the most important thing that he's done is that he has put himself in a position to not just be a Pro Bowler, to be an All-Pro, and to be the next version of an Aaron Donald, the next version of a Chris Jones. When you look at those Ram teams from a couple of years ago, and when you look at how well Kansas City has played when they've had their defense rocking and rolling, it's because they've had someone on the inside that can get interior pressure. And Byron Murphy has been absolutely fantastic at that.
He really has been. And part of the thing with Byron Murphy, too, is, Seattle asked him to play a position that's not traditionally where he would excel typically. He's not your true nose tackle, even though he's built the size of one and clearly can excel in that role. That rookie year was definitely an adjustment for him. You're obviously in a new system, you're learning a new position, so there was a little bit of a slow start with it. And then now he seems to have really grasped kind of what he needs to do. He came into training camp ready, and so far in the season, Will, you nailed it. I mean, he has looked fantastic in terms of interior pressures by interior defensive linemen. He's at, the top of the entire NFL as a second-year player. And look, I'm hugely excited for the prospect of Byron Murphy, what he could turn this defense into, and him being a cornerstone for this defense for many years to come. So I think that's a great takeaway from yours truly, and maybe one that I was thinking, so on the fly I might switch mine. Mine's the cornerback depth.
Ooh, yeah. Yep. I see something in the chat right now. I want to make sure that person knows. We'll be talking about that in a sec.
Yeah. No, I just, listen, we knew Woolen had his highs and lows.
Yeah.
Rookie year, a lot of highs. Last year, some lows.
Yep.
Now, he may be potentially on his way out of Seattle. We'll see. But I think, with the emergence of Josh Show, with the emergence of Darian Kendrick, this secondary, if you think about it, obviously you added Nick Emmanwori. You have Devin Witherspoon. You've got a lot of talent. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, Julian Love in the safety room. But in terms of the cornerback depth, you're always going to sit there and kind of wonder, okay, how is Seattle going to manage all these pieces and get them on the field and find the best combination? And the best way to have that is, to increase your depth at the cornerback position. And the fact that Seattle's now got two guys that have really stepped up to the plate, especially in the absences of some injuries, I think it's a really big positive takeaway for this team.
I couldn't agree more, man. The defense has been freaking awesome. And I think it's a good sign when I talk about the interior defensive line. You talk about the secondary. We haven't mentioned the linebackers. I think Ernest Jones has been nails. I think Tyrese Knight has played well, but Drake Thomas has played so well that he's earned himself more time, which is why you're seeing him rotate in. We haven't even gotten to talk about the edge rushers. So you look at this defense, we're talking all this hype about them. Here's the crazy part. They're going to get better because now you're getting Witherspoon back. Spoiler alert, next segment, we're going to be talking about Nick Emmanwori. We're getting some positive news there. This defense can only improve. So when I look at what you've got cooking right now, it feels 2012-ish. And maybe that's because I'm too much into it. Maybe it's because I love this team too much, and so I can't see everything. And I'm going right into this vision of just, this was the peak, we can do it again. But man, oh man, this defense is special. Special. And we didn't even get to talk about the offense. We haven't talked about having probably the second best wide receiver in the NFL right now. We haven't talked about our offensive line being bolstered right now by a rookie O-lineman who has the best run block win rate, according to PFF. Gray frickin' Zabel. We haven't gotten to talk about him.
Nope.
Haven't gotten to talk about him. That's how good this team is. I need more than one positive takeaway. That's awesome. Now, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to this person. Xander!
Let's go.
Thank you, Xander. Xander is the very first live super. Very first live super.
Let's go.
Shout out to you, Xander. You know what? I got a Hall of Fame helmet here. It's not with me currently. It's over at my desk. Xander's going on the Hall of Fame helmet.
Let's go.
Xander's going on the Hall of Fame helmet as a thank you. You are now a king on the dome, Xander. I want to say thank you for being the first to send in a super here on the show. And remember, if you send in a super, we're going to make sure that we get you on the show. Some channels, some YouTubers don't shout out their fans enough. We here at Seahawks Today, Colin and I, we do. We're going to make sure that we take care of you because you are taking care of us. And I want to say thank you. For both of your opinions, if we trade Woolen, who should we get for him? Who or what should we get for him? So, Xander, that's a great question. I've done a little bit of content so far on the channel about potential trades for Riq Woolen. There's another trade potential partner that kind of showed themselves recently, and that was the Miami Dolphins. The video that I did was on the Giants, it was on the Raiders, and it was on the Bills. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to check out what Miami's kind of thinking, so I'm going to stay away from that one so far. I got to see a little bit about what Buffalo's thinking. I have no interest in what Buffalo wants to offer. Buffalo wants to offer a day 3 pick. So they don't even want to offer a 4th round. Buffalo wants to offer a 5th round. In my eyes, Riq Woolen is not worth a Buffalo Bills 5th round pick because that's really a 6th round pick. I think that the Bills are going to be, at worst, a divisional round playoff team. I don't want that pick. I don't want to pick that late in the draft for a guy like Riq Woolen, who has shown the upside of a defensive rookie of the year. He's been a player that's shown he can be one of the top guys in the league. And frankly, I just don't think he fits the Seahawks system. If you had Riq Woolen running as a man corner, that's pretty darn good. You tell him, hey man, go out athlete that other guy. Riq Woolen would do pretty well. I forgot about the Cowboys. I should have mentioned the Cowboys because the Cowboys have talked about potentially making some moves for him. Now, the Raiders offer, we had Mitchell Renz and I, we went into the, we're going to call it the war room. We had a discussion about what a trade would look like there. I said I would like Jackson Powers-Johnson. I don't think we're going to get Jackson Powers-Johnson just for Riq Woolen. He offered a day 3 pick. I was able to convince him to do the 4th round pick. That I would take from the Raiders because the Raiders suck. And they're going to have a high pick. And so if the Raiders are going to have a high pick, well, now, yeah, it's day 3, but you're looking at a day 3 that's going to be one of the first 3 or 4 picks in that 4th round. You can convince yourself that that's a 3rd round pick. Who's someone that you took in the very end of the 3rd round that if you don't take him, ends up in the 4th? DK Metcalf. So there are some good players that you can go and get in the 4th. That's the one that I like the best. That is the most realistic. Now, there is talk about the Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau. In my version of the trade, it was just Kayvon for Riq straight up. After doing more research, you probably are going to have to throw in a pick for that. I would love Kayvon Thibodeau in Seattle for Riq Woolen and, I don't know, maybe a 4th round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick. That'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. Re-sign him, man. Take care of that deal. Now, all of a sudden, you have a premier edge rusher, a guy who's gotten 11.5 sacks in a year in a team that, hey, their defensive line is great, but the rest of it isn't so great. Imagine what he could do with a defense that surrounds him that is strong at the linebacker spot and secondary. But I don't know that New York would be willing to pivot off of him. Colin, what would you like to get?
So this is kind of a multi-layered question in terms of a couple of different ways the Seahawks could go. Obviously, Riq Woolen is a young talent that's shown flashes, but it's been inconsistent, I think is fair to say. Mm-hmm. Look,
more than fair.
Yeah. I think if you're Seattle, you kind of have to look at this and say, look, is he in our future plans? Because if he could potentially, like if you're leaving room or if there's even hesitancy, cornerback depth, as we've seen with this team already, corners can go down in the blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure you have somebody in the roster now. Are you going to, if you trade Woolen, are you going to call up Shaquille Griffin, John Charles? Like, are you going to call somebody up just to kind of have as your depth, and are you comfortable with that? Perhaps. The thing is, if you trade Riq Woolen, I do think a 4th-round pick is very much on the high end in terms of value per se that you can grab. Seattle would obviously love to get a pick higher than that. I don't know how realistic that is. To me, the more intriguing part of Riq Woolen is because you could trade, for just throwing a name out, for example, if Dallas wanted to trade, Mozzie Smith in a late round, like day 3 pick for Riq Woolen, that's something that maybe you can negotiate, right? Get a true nose tackle in there. I think what could be interesting with Riq Woolen, because again, a lot of teams need corners.
Yeah.
Could you package Riq Woolen and maybe a draft pick of your own to go get a Kayvon Thibodeau, to go get a premier player that could contribute to your team winning this year? Because Seattle, again, if they win, knock on wood, this Sunday against Tampa Bay, they're 4-1.
And really should be 5-0.
Exactly. If you hadn't given them away, in week 1. I think Riq Woolen could be a piece along with a pick that you can attach to maybe go try to get a win-now-ish type player, or maybe somebody that fits more of what you're trying to do, either offensively or defensively. That would be the route that I'm trying to go with. Because, again, you're going to lose in the cornerback depth department trading away a corner, obviously.
Right.
Why not try to, maybe take a pick? And, again, Schneider, if he finds a deal he likes, he's willing to pull the trigger. We've known 100%. This in the past. I think, to me, packaging Woolen with maybe potentially a day 2 pick or something along the lines, depending on the player, obviously, to go grab a key, starting level player, I think that should be the goal for the Seahawks.
I don't hate that take. I think I came in and I think I have a higher value on Riq than what he's worth. I have a little bit of the Portland Trailblazers in me where I say CJ McCollum is a cornerstone and then I trade him away for a 2nd-round pick in the NBA, and that means nothing, right? And so that can be an issue with myself when I'm asking for trade pieces. It's clear to me that the rumors have come from in the house. Seattle wants to move on, which is fine. Riq Woolen's been a good player, but he doesn't fit into the long-term plans. I did see this, and this was an interesting take. There's a guy in Seattle named Mitch. Mitch used to have a morning show out there. Now he does like a podcast. Everyone's doing podcasts. Mitch said, I don't care that you're going to get rid of Riq Woolen. I already know. Everybody knows. Riq will not be in Seattle in 2026. That's clear. His reasoning for keeping Riq was, you never know when an injury is going to happen. You have already seen this team have secondary injuries. If you have more injuries in the secondary and you move on from Riq Woolen, who's to say that the next guy stepping up will be as good as him? So if your idea is we need to make sure that we hold on to the best players we possibly can, maybe you go down the road of what Mitch said. I found it fascinating of a take. Personally, for me, I would like to get a better return, but maybe the trade market for Riq isn't there. And if it isn't there, maybe there is a world that they keep him. Maybe there is a world.
It's an interesting discussion. And I think ultimately, if they're looking just to get him out of the locker room, that's one thing. I don't get that vibe that Riq's let's just call it this way, like a cancer, for lack of a better term, in the locker room.
Right. He seems well-liked.
Yes.
He seems well-liked.
I just don't think, there's things that you can, poke holes in his game, so to speak. The fact he's athletically gifted. He really is.
Yes.
But he's inconsistent in terms of, kind of grabbing receivers. He doesn't always turn his head around. And just mentally, sometimes the concentration lapses can be very frustrating, as we saw in week 1. So
yes. Yep. He's a large reason why you're not 5-0.
Yeah.
Why you're not one of 3 teams instead of 2.
And I just think that Riq, listen, he has value in this league because he has potential and he's young.
Yes.
And GMs will bet on potential. So there will be a market for him. The question is, as Will mentioned, what is that market?
What is that market? 100%. I want to make sure that I give a couple shout-outs because people have been messaging in. Joey, love you, man. Thank you so much. Love that we got an international show. Hopefully it's looking good down in Australia. Max did a thing. Thank you so much for coming in and subscribing. Good to see you. Marvin, Gio, shout out. Mike Mason, how are you? Hope all's going well. Daniel, what's up? Matthew, hey, man, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm happy that you're here now, and I love and I appreciate you for being here. And just like that, Ian!
Let's go.
What's up? How are you, man? It was good to see you last Thursday night. Hello, go Seahawks. Shout out to Ian, man. Hey, Ian was a big fan of the raffle item that we had going on Thursday. We had some unfortunate news with that raffle item, or maybe fortunate for guys like Ian, because maybe Walter Jones is still in play.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But the suits may have come down on me a little bit, and maybe the signed Walter Jones jersey is still in play. I tried really hard.
You never know.
Sounds like some people going to have an opportunity for that again. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to show up on Sunday to find out what Colin and I are doing. Good to see you, William. Good to see you, Julian. Shout out. Oh, Levitate. You and I need to have a convo, brother. You and I need to have a convo, man. Real one in the chat. Real one in the chat.
Yeah.
Love Levitate. Love Levitate. So, next segment. You guys are absolutely killing it. We've got 77 likes. We are going to dive right into the latest injury news for your Seattle Seahawks, as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we'll be right back to have a convo before we finish off with your mailbag questions. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we have to break down the latest injury news surrounding your Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's been some big news on both sides, more positives for Seattle, more negatives for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at this injury report, you kind of get where I'm going with it. I understand that it might not be the easiest to see, but I think it's pretty obvious to tell. Seattle Seahawks injury list, very small. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury list, very large. We're going to dive into what that means and more on today's show. But I'm telling you listeners right now, you viewers, you wonderful 12s, that the Seattle Seahawks are going to beat the Buccaneers on Sunday. Do you agree with me? Type true down below. You disagree? Type false down below. I better see a lot more trues. I want to start in Seattle with your Seahawks. So let's go through the injury report because while it is small, there are some key names on it. Nick Emmanwori is set to return. Coach Mike McDonald said right when he got injured that if he was going to play, he needed to practice. He wasn't like Devin Witherspoon or Julian Love where he could just show up and perform. He was a player that needed to be a full participant in practice. Guess what we've seen so far this week? We've seen Nick Emmanwori be a full participant in practice. I completely expect him to be out on the field on Sunday, and I'm fascinated to see how the Seahawks are going to use him. Darian Kendrick's been playing in that nickel spot in his absence. He's been playing really well. Dude already has 2 interceptions on the year, bunch of pass breakups, couple tackles. How is Seattle going to kind of mix making sure that Kendrick gets his time as well as making sure that Nick Emmanwori gets in that big nickel package? We're finally going to get to see an entirely healthy secondary. Yeah, kind of. We're kind of going to get to see that, and I'm going to dive into it more here in 1 second. But when you look at the depth, you finally get the full complements of this safety unit. You finally get to see Kobe Bryant flying around in that free safety spot making plays. Julian Love, probably going to get to see him run around. I'll have more on that in a little bit. But Nick Emmanwori can go back into that backup strong safety spot as well as Ty Okuda. He's going to be able to be back more in that free safety spot. You saw him struggle a little bit in the big nickel position that he had to play a couple times in the absence of Emmanwori. When you look at the cornerbacks, I do believe, now I'm going with what the Seahawks have released as their depth chart. So this is a correct depth chart right now. What I think you're going to see is Darian Kendrick slide into that nickel spot and Devin Witherspoon slide into that left cornerback spot. And you are going to see Josh Jobe, Devin Witherspoon, and Darian Kendrick out running around making big-time plays for your Seattle Seahawks. Now, I say all that to make sure that I do mention, and why I kind of did the maybe healthy, is that you do have a couple of players on that injury report in the secondary still. Starting with Devin Witherspoon. He played on Thursday night. He hasn't practiced yet. Now, when you're dealing with an MCL bruise, it can be very finicky. You might wake up one day and say, hey, I feel great. I can go out there and perform like one of the best players in the NFL. And then the next day you wake up, that knee gets all swollen, and you're not able to go. Devin Witherspoon, I do believe, is going to play on Sunday. I think you're going to see him out running around, and that the team is just deciding to rest him. Now, I made sure to mention this when it came to Nick Emmanwori, that Mike Macdonald said, hey, you have to practice. When it came to Devin Witherspoon's injury, that's not someone who needs to practice, and Mike Macdonald made that very clear. You've already seen him come out and perform as one of the best players in the NFL. He can continue to do that. And an MCL bruise takes time to heal. If you're not going to give it that time to heal, it's going to take extra time to heal. Just because if you normally were able, off-season, Devin Witherspoon takes a month off, his knee's fine, good to go, then that's about the normal time it would take for that bruise to heal. When it comes to in the middle of the season where you got to go, hey, man, you only get 2 weeks off. The rest of the time, you got to be out and practicing. Don't be shocked if you see Devin Witherspoon end up on the injury report a few more times for the next month, 2 months, maybe even 2.5 months, because it just takes extra time for that MCL bruise to heal, and they're giving him that time. You saw him, be a little rusty on Thursday night. Hopefully he's putting himself in a position to be less rusty. I am completely confident that he will be back and ready to go. Julian Love is the other player that I said, hey, I'm going to talk about them a little bit more. He missed practice again with a hamstring injury. Again, I'm not worried about Julian Love like I would have been if this was Nick Emmanwori, because I don't need Julian Love to practice. I need Julian Love ready to go on game days, and boy, was he ready to go on Thursday night. I felt like he played a pretty good game. It wasn't a Julian Love type of game, but if I'm going to get 80% of Julian Love, I expect Julian Love to play like most safeties, not like the rare exception of safety that I believe Julian Love is. When I rank my strong safeties, I'd rank Julian Love as one of the top guys in the NFL. So if I'm going to get 80% of him, I'm going to get basically an average safety performance, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence, I think we can all just take a big deep breath in and a big deep breath out. When he left the game on Thursday night, they said thigh injury. My brain immediately went to the worst. Is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be able to return? How long is he going to be out? Are we looking at DeMarcus Lawrence on the IR? With how well that he has played this year, that would be a huge loss, especially in the run game. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like he's going to be questionable. Brady Henderson tweeted this out. Basically, Mike Macdonald said, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's got a pretty good thigh bruise. He's going to be day-to-day, which essentially means week-to-week. But there's no reason to even worry about him going on IR. This is the type of injury that you give him some time, some rest and relaxation, he'll be able to come out and perform just like he was before. I do not expect to see DeMarcus Lawrence participate in the game on Sunday. There's a couple of reasons why for me when it comes to this. I think the first big reason is that it's early in the season and you don't want to risk a player who's been around the league a time or two, like DeMarcus Lawrence, trying to come back too soon and getting hurt because his body has a bunch of wear and tear. Let him rest. And the second reason why is because of who's behind him. Look at this edge unit. Right now, Boye Mafe could easily slide from that Sam linebacker position into that rush edge position, and he'd perform at a high level. He would perform at a level that allowed you to almost act like nothing is missing in the passing game. In fact, I'd make the argument that you might get more pass rushing opportunities, more opportunities for sacks by using him in that side because he's so good at stopping the pass. Derek Hall has been great so far. He's already the backup rush edge position. He could dive in there, come in, make big-time plays for you. He's already shown that he's winning at a high rate. I'd love to see Ivy get some time. I would love to see what the kid can do because he's a special talent, and we saw when he was given some run. Yes, he made some mistakes in the preseason, but he also made some big-time plays. This isn't saying that DeMarcus Lawrence should be benched and that the Seattle defense will be better without him. But what I am saying is that this Seahawks defense is deep at the position DeMarcus Lawrence is there, and you can get 95% of the same production while resting him. And this is good news for Seattle. You could not afford to lose DeMarcus Lawrence for a long, extended period of time just because of what he adds to this team. And right now, he's winning in the rushing attack. He's making big plays there. Eventually, he's going to start making big plays in that passing game, too. You saw it with Uchenna Nwosu. He exploded. I think there's only a moment for DeMarcus Lawrence to get there. It's only a matter of time. He's going to get back to what he was. Make sure to show him some love, man. Make sure that you show DeMarcus Lawrence some zeros in the comment section. We want to make sure that he knows here at Seahawks Today, we love him, we appreciate him, and we want him to get a speedy, healthy recovery. He's going to be a big-time player for your Seahawks when they try and go into the playoffs and try and go after a Super Bowl. I got a couple of injuries that I need to report on from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before I do that, I need to talk to you about today's proud sponsor, and that, of course, is our good friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Sunday, I cooked up a nice little 3-pick power play for you. A lot of injuries in Baltimore. Derrick Henry, more than 86.5 rushing yards. Cooper Kupp doesn't have a touchdown this year. More than a half rush or receiving touchdown. And, of course, Sam Darnold, more than 237.5 passing yards against Tampa Bay. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now remember, we looked. There was a big, long list. It went all the way past the screen of injuries that was going on at Tampa Bay. I mean, look at this thing. It is massive. It is so massive. Don't clip that. That you cannot see the Seahawks players on their injury report. It looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, every single player is on that injury report list right now. It must be rough down in Florida. It must be the most basic walk-through, easy practice of all time because everyone is on that injury report. Everyone in a Buccaneers uniform seems to be listed down. Shoot, I wouldn't be shocked if we went back through, combed through it, and we saw head coach Todd Bowles on the injury report for like a knee contusion or something. Everyone is hurt there. I do want to go through some of the big-time players for Tampa Bay that are going to be crucial in whether Tampa Bay will be able to perform like they have been against Seattle if these guys are healthy. We're going to start with Bucky Irving. Now, the former Oregon running back is dealing with a foot sprain. This tweet coming from Adam Schefter, ESPN's NFL insider. He was in a walking boot and on crutches in practice. Now, good news for Tampa Bay. They don't believe that this is a long-term injury. They believe that this is going to be something that is week to week that Bucky can recover from fast. I don't know if he'll be able to recover from it fast enough to get out and play in Seattle on Sunday. This is a quote here from Todd Bowles. We'll know more by Friday. Right now, it's a sprain. We're taking it day to day. If he's out of the boot by Friday, I'll be more inclined to say he's probably not going to play. Right now, Bucky Irving has not been reported as being out of the boot. I don't think there is any way that Bucky Irving comes out and plays on Sunday, or at least comes out and plays well on Sunday. He was in a boot and crutches on Tuesday. On Wednesday, he wasn't at practice. You cannot tell me that a guy who missed that amount of time is going to be able to come out and perform at a peak level, the level that Tampa Bay needs him to perform at. He's their most touched guy, and by that I mean gets touches of the rock the most, and he's got their most total yards receiving and rushing combined the last 3 weeks. You need that guy to be 100% healthy. He's not going to be. Mike Evans is out. I know that's a bold take. Not a doctor, despite what my Twitter account has led some people to believe. Right now, he is out with a hamstring strain. He injured this a week ago. That is a 3 to 4 week recovery minimum. So that means he should still have 2 to 3 weeks while he is out. I do not expect Mike Evans to come in and play this week. Frankly, I've already listed him as out. You probably should too. That means no one is healthy. I mean, shoot, even the guy we've got on the screen right now missed a practice. Now, of course, he had to be Mr. Tough Guy and come in and say, hey, don't worry about it. I'm Baker Mayfield. If it was a game, I would have went out and performed. It doesn't mean you feel good, man. It doesn't mean you feel like you're ready to go. This team in Tampa Bay offensively is going to be a shell of what they were. Even another guy who's going to play in this game, Tristan Wirfs, he missed some time. He's still coming back from his knee injury that made him miss a lot of time in the offseason and in training camp. I went through almost every key player on there except for Emeka Ibuka and Godwin, and everyone's hurt. And Godwin's still on the injury report because he just got back for his first game last week. Right now, this Tampa Bay team is basically a walking infirmary unit. Everybody is on the IR. If this was baseball, they would all be put on the 10-day IL. Seattle has to take advantage of these injuries. And I'm not here to say that we root for injuries, because of course we don't. But when you have a team that isn't at 100% health and you're about as close as you possibly can be, you have to take advantage of that. You just got the mini bye. Use that extra time to heal up so that you're running faster. You're running like you were in week 1. Your bones feel good. Your muscles feel strong. Any nicks and scrapes, they have to be 100%. You went through a game like this already in week 1. The San Francisco 49ers were beat up. Now, it was the healthiest version of the 49ers because apparently every single week they find a new and fun, exciting way to get hurt, and every single player that they have that's worth a you-know-what gets hurt. But you can't let week 1 happen again. You're playing a team that is injured to the max. You need to beat them to the max. Whoop up on them. You're about to go through one of the more difficult stretches in the entire NFL, and we're going to know what you truly are. So if you have a game that's a little bit easier than it was supposed to, you need to jump on that. Jump on Tampa Bay, end this game early. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Make sure if you haven't already, go and smash that subscribe button on the channel. You're going to get Seahawks content every single day. Thank you for tuning in. All right, producer Colin's done a great job of throwing up my social media up on the screen. Make sure you follow me on X or on Instagram at Will Ortner. Beauty is, it's all lowercase, super easy to find me. I've got my Glenwood Little League picture, and I'm biting on like that to a little medal. It's when my Little League team got all the way to state. So close to the Little League World Series. And by that, I mean we lost to the team that went to the Little League World Series. So there you go.
You basically were in the Little League World Series, basically.
I got a hit off a kid who threw a ball in the Little League World Series. So, that's not stolen glory. Say the Instagram picture's a little different. I think I'm giving my best man speech at my brother's wedding. I think that's what it is. You've got a cool picture.
Yeah, mine was when I went to Canada. I'm not. Had you started when I took a little vacation? I don't remember.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Yeah, it was this past summer. So yeah, it would actually have been right before you started. Yeah, I was in Canada and I got to do a little track walk, and I'm just sitting there, just like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I love getting up to.
Yeah.
Canada. Craig, shout out to you, man. Of course, man.
Let's go.
William, hey girl, what's up? Julian, I am not doing a watch party for the 49ers versus the Rams. If you'd like to check out another Chat Sports channel, Chase Sr. does a fantastic job with Chip, and they will be doing a live watch party on the 49ers report. I will be doing with Cullen. Cullen and I will be doing. I should make sure to mention that. We're doing a watch party against when the Seahawks take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That will be live an hour before kickoff. Now, we're in Texas, so Central Time. That means it's 3 o'clock. When the game kicks off, we will be live at 2 o'clock. If you are in the West Coast, we'll be live at noon. If you're in Mountain Time, we'll be live at 1. And if you're on the East Coast, we'll be live at 3. Look at how I did that.
So freaking smart.
Look at how I did that. We're getting there, man.
Look at all the smart things.
Absolutely get there. See, Ian. Ian, I love it. Make sure this is your last opportunity if you haven't had a chance to do so. We are wrapping up the show here in a couple of minutes with a mailbag. Now, if you don't know what a mailbag is, 1, congratulations to you on being 12. 2, a mailbag is where you send in questions and we make sure that we answer them. You already saw us answer Xander's question about what would Reek Woolen be traded for and would we want Reek Woolen to be traded. If you want to jump the line, make sure that you get in there. You send in a super chat. Otherwise, you use the hashtag Seahawks. Julian has done this before. And if you are one of the lucky few, we'll pick you, put you on, and we'll answer your question live here on the stream. We've had a good showing and some good questions. Seahawks fans are really smart.
They're really smart.
That's the truth. Seahawks fans are really smart, and they ask great questions.
And one thing they also may not know, look, Xander, we asked the question. We answered. Mm-hmm. We're also going to include it on the mailbag because he sent in that super chat. We want to reward him for sending a super chat. So you're going to be in the mailbag.
Yeah, look at that. You're a video that you can watch here on the show. It's going to be featuring you, man.
Yeah. And I tell you this much. Max, Daniel, Jay-Z, the 3 guys I mentioned earlier, they use hashtag Seahawks. They ask questions. They're going to be included on this mailbag. So, again, you can also ask these questions when we're in the mailbag because this thing, refreshes. It'll pull your comments, and I'm able to get it on screen. However, if you ask a question and you don't use hashtag Seahawks like you see on your screen, I'm not going to be able to pull it, no matter how great the question is. I'm sitting there just like, no, I want to use that question.
We can't.
Can't do it. Can't do it. So use hashtag Seahawks. Again, could it be, some Reek Woolen trade destinations? Could it be, who is Seattle's biggest X factor this week against Tampa Bay? Any question that you guys can think of, Will would be more than happy to give you an answer.
Yes, sir. I would love to. Xander's our MVP. Ian is second. Ian would like a Seahawks, and you know what?
I think we give it to him.
I think we should give Ian a Seahawks because Ian was hanging out with us, sending a super. Ian also, big time hangout on Thursday night. Love talking with Ian on Thursday night. Would you like to do the C and I'll do the Hawks?
I would love to take the honors on that.
Seahawks! Seahawks! Seahawks!
Let's go!
Shout out to you, Ian. Shout out. Here is what is so.
Woo! Ian, the man, the myth, the legend.
Shout out, Ian.
Is back.
Ian's making sure he's getting on the show.
I'll tell you one thing.
Ian's
getting on the mailbag, or Ian's getting in the mailbag.
Ian's getting in the mailbag. Love that. Love that. Camille, I pronounced it correctly? Did I pronounce your name correctly? I've been known for making mistakes with names, so I hope I did it correctly. Of course, Ian, man, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Ian.
Yeah.
He's taking over the MVP. Shout out to him.
There he is.
Shout out to him. We're at 91 likes right now on this Seahawks Live. That is the most amount of likes we have ever had on a Seahawks Live.
We're just breaking records today.
It's a record breaker. We've already broken the most supers, and we've already broken the most questions that have been put in, and we've already broken the most amount of likes. And just like that, we've got another Brandon. Shout out to you. Hey, here's the beauty, Brandon. Not only are you going to get up here on the stream, you're also going to get in the video. Brandon's going to be in the mailbag video. Absolutely love it, man. Shout out to you, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the boys. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Let's go.
That's freaking awesome, man. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, get the W's down below.
W's down below. Brandon. Brandon, you're going to be in infamy, man. That's awesome. Awesome. Austin, how you doing? Good to see ya. Appreciate everyone who tunes in. Look at that. We're already hyping up the stream on likes. We might get to 100.
We might
get to 100.
Who's going to be that one that gets us to 100?
You know what? We're 4 away. We get to 100,
we'll jump in the mailbag.
We should jump in the mailbag, but we should also, I will do something to show my appreciation.
Okay. I like this.
I think it should be physical.
Okay.
I would love to do push-ups, but I don't think that we can see me if I do push-ups.
Technically, there's a way we can do it. It's not the best way, but there is a way.
Should I do jumping jacks?
Jumping jacks work. If you want to do that, maybe you're saving.
Should I do 100 jumping jacks for every single like? That's what we'll do. We're 3 likes away right now. If we get to 100 likes, not only will we start the mailbag, I'll do 100 jumping jacks or more for every like. So if you get another friend or two in, man, I'll make sure that I'm doing 102 jumping jacks, 105 jumping jacks, whatever I need to. Julian's using the hashtag. I love that. Xander wants a shot. Should we do a shot? Jumping jacks and a shot?
Little something.
We can do a shot.
Little something.
Jumping jacks and a shot after the mailbag. How about that? But you got to get to 100.
Got
to get to 100.
One away.
One away. Brandon, shout out to you, man. Thank you for watching the daily videos. Ooh, daily routine. I love that. Someone unliked. What the hell? What was that? Someone doesn't want us to do jumping jacks.
That's fine.
Someone doesn't want us to do jumping jacks.
Lame.
Ooh.
Lame.
That is okay. Ian, you're right. That is a good question by Julian. Hey, we're back to 99.
Let's go.
Back to 99. Let's get to 100. We're right there. It'll be the most liked live we've ever had here on Seahawks Today. I love it. We're 1 away.
Come on. We got 2 minutes. Let's get there.
2 minutes. Let's get there.
Let's go.
We're 1 away. Daniel, shout out to you.
Let's go.
Xander DeGray, shout out to you. Boom!
Let's go.
Shout out 100! 100 likes. I love it, man. That's awesome. I appreciate every single one who came in and liked the stream. My hearts go out to you. This is the most viewed stream and the most liked stream that we've ever had, man. That's awesome. Here's what we'll do. We're going to do the mailbag video.
Yep.
I will do the jumping jacks. Right now, I'm up to 104 jumping jacks I have to do. Awesome. I'm sure that'll go swimmingly. While I'm doing that, Colin will grab us some shots.
Yep.
We'll cheers you guys because you guys have earned it. We'll shot it up. And then we'll get out of here and get on with our day so that we can go and hope that the Rams and 49ers game somehow ends in a tie.
So mailbag, jumping jacks, shots, peace.
Yep, I'll jumping jacks it while you grab our tools.
I can do that.
I appreciate you.
I can do it.
6 jumping jacks. Wow, that's going to be crazy.
It's going to be pretty freaking nuts.
It's going to be freaking nuts. And you have until the mailbag video ends to get those likes in. So however many we get, that's how many jumping jacks I'm going to do for you. And I'll be talking to you, answering questions while I do it. All right. Let's do this thing. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and we, the 12s, are showing everyone here at Chat Sports who the best NFC West fandom is. We've been in a sub battle all week long for supremacy when it comes to the NFC West, and right now we are dominating the 49ers report. We have 30 more new subscribers this week than they did. If you have a friend that likes Seattle Seahawks videos, loves the team, make sure they come in and subscribe to the channel. We've got videos coming out every single day. Now we're going to dive into the questions on today's mailbag, and this comes from Darnold Season. What does the return of Nick Emmanwori mean for the Seahawks defense? Now, I think this is one of the more fascinating and fun questions with Seattle. Going into the season, Nick Emmanwori was supposed to be your starting big nickel. And what that means is when teams went into 12 personnel or they went into a formation where you needed a bigger defensive back, Nick Emmanwori would go in there. If it was more of a spread where you need more of a dime package, Devin Witherspoon would be in that nickel spot. With how well Darian Kendrick has been playing, I don't know if you can instantly go to Nick Emmanwori, or it's going to turn into one of those things where they're going to have to split a lot of time together. This isn't an attack on Nick Emmanwori, but to an extent, he's been a little bit Wally pipped. Darian Kendrick having 2 interceptions on this year has played himself into a position where you cannot take him off of the field. In my eyes, I love that Emmanwori is coming back. I think it turns into basically where they get 50-50 of those reps in that nickel spot. Ian, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the super. Will Christian Haynes ever pan out as a better option at right guard, in your opinion? I think, unfortunately, Ian, we have missed when it comes to Christian Haynes. I think that the Seahawks originally wanted Christian Haynes to be battling it out with Anthony Bradford for that right guard spot. And while Anthony Bradford has clearly improved in my eyes as to what he had been in previous years, Anthony Bradford is still not where he needs to be. Christian Haynes is on IR right now with a pec injury. He ain't coming back this week. Mike McDonald said that. If you have a weak spot on this O-line, it is that right guard position. I don't think it's Christian Haynes that's going to be the person that takes over for Anthony Bradford. If anything is going to happen, I think Oluwatimi goes to center and Jalen Sundell bounces to right guard. The only way that you make a change there on that offensive line is if you make a big trade and you trade Reek Woolen for someone that's a veteran. Pie in the sky, JPJ in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. You might be stuck with this offensive line unit because I don't think that Christian Haynes is going to be the guy. Fortunately or unfortunately. Shout out to Fullbacks Matter. Love that. Big fan of Robbie Oots. Are you, huh, brother? Is Bucky Irving going to play on Sunday? Now, this is negligible of me, and I probably shouldn't do this, or negligence, I think is actually the proper term. I'm good at English. I don't believe that Bucky Irving is going to play. We've got the Adam Schefter tweet pulled up again. Bucky Irving is dealing with a foot sprain. He was in a walking boot and using crutches. Now, the Buccaneers do not think it's a long-term injury. What that means is they don't think they need to put him on IR. They're considering him week to week. I do not see a world where Bucky Irving is in crutches and in a walking boot where he comes out and plays this Sunday. I think Bucky Irving's injury is going to be very similar to how you saw Nick Emmanwori's injury path go. It took him 3 weeks to be ready to play, even though he stayed off IR. I think the same thing is going to happen for Bucky. I do not see him being able to go out and play this Sunday. Brandon! What's up, man? Go Hawks! Love and appreciate you, man. Love our team. I think our 70-player depth makes us Super Bowl ready. Hey, I don't disagree. You know who else agrees with you, Brandon? Colin freaking Cowherd. Love that. Thoughts about the right side of our offensive line? Well, we've talked a little bit about Anthony Bradford. I think that he has improved from last year. There are clearly a lot of TikToks, a lot of Twitter videos, a lot of YouTube videos that are not going our good friend's way. He's made some big mistakes that, well, frankly, he hasn't made in the past, or hasn't fixed mistakes that he's made in the past, I should say. And unfortunately, I do think there's room for improvement there at right guard. I just don't know exactly how you go about it. The easy move would be Oluwatimi. Jalen Sundell goes to guard. Oluwatimi goes to center. But right now, I think maybe if you're able to trade Reek Woolen, you find another player that is a guard-ready player. Maybe there's a potential that you look at like what the Eagles did with Mekhi Becton. Maybe you trade for a tackle that hasn't worked somewhere else and move them in to that guard spot. I know our Giants Now host, Marshall Green, really wanted us to take Evan Neal off his hands. I don't know that I want to do that, but that is an option there. Abraham Lucas, on the other hand, I don't think he's played bad. I think you are getting kind of what you expected out of him. He's been fairly decent in the run game, above average, and in the pass pro, he has one big miss. Like, let's be honest, the Nick Bosa miss, that hurts. Especially basically coming off of just getting your new contract extension. You'd have liked him to stand up a little bit better there. But remember, Abe Lucas went against Nick Bosa. Then he went against TJ Watt. And then he went against the Granderson kid and Cam Jordan out in New Orleans. He did pretty well against them. And then he went against Arizona, who, well, has nobody on the edge. And he did pretty darn good too. So I think he does deserve a little bit of credit and leniency for some of the mistakes that he made early on in the season. You guys have sent in some great questions, and I'm going to make sure that I get to as many of them as I possibly can. But before I do that, I need to talk to you about today's proud sponsor, Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. This Sunday, I have a 3-pick power play involving 2 Seattle Seahawks. Derrick Henry, more than his listed rushing yards in Prize Picks. Cooper Kupp, more than a touchdown. Sam Darnold, more than 237.5 passing yards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Xander! Shout out to you, man. Good to see ya. Hey, getting yourself on a Seahawks Today video. That's a real one. Love you, Xander. Appreciate you, big dog. For both of your opinions, if we trade Woolen, who should we get for him? Who or what should we get for him? Now, unfortunately, Xander, I am higher on Woolen than I think everybody else is. I think that a Reek Woolen for Jackson Powers Johnson trade straight up is fair. I have been told that is clearly not fair by a lot of other people, including our Raiders host, Mitchell Renz, here on Seahawks Today. So what I would tell you is the best that you're probably going to get for Reek Woolen is somebody else that's in a similar position. A player that has had some good moments, has had some bad moments, and the team is ready to move on from them. Reek Woolen also has less trade value because, well, one, you've already gone out and created the rumor. Everybody knows that rumor that Ian Rappaport tweeted out of Reek Woolen being on the trading block came from inside the Seahawks front office. So that brings some of the trade value down. The other thing that brings his trade value down is that he is not a long-term player. Right now, with his contract being in the final year, teams are viewing him as a rental. He'd basically be coming in a tryout spot. So if you're going to trade for someone that you don't know if you're going to fully re-sign, why would you trade a lot away for him? So the value is going to be low. I think you're probably getting a day 3 pick. Unfortunately, I think you're probably going to get a 5th round pick or worse. So hopefully you're able to make a trade with a team that is already, well, not very good at football. That way that pick is higher and it looks closer to a 4th round pick as opposed to later and it looks more like a 6th round pick. Now, if you're able to get some veteran help on the offensive line, maybe that's someone that could come in and kind of fix that right guard position that Brandon and Ian were talking about. Or maybe you're able to go and already bolster up a position of strength. There's rumors of maybe the Giants wanting to move on from Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, you'd have to trade more than just Reek Woolen. You'd probably have to trade a draft pick away as well. But maybe that's something that you could package together to go and make a big-time splash. Julian, I think you've been on every mailbag so far, man. That's awesome. What is going to be our biggest strength and weakness going into Week 5 against Tampa Bay? Julian, that's a great question. I think when it comes to strength, I think it's going to be on the offensive side of the football for you. You have no injuries aside from Robbie Oots, and you already knew that he wasn't going to play in this game. You also had a lot of time to give players rest. Abe Lucas has missed some practice time this year. Well, guess what? He didn't have to miss any practice time this week because he had the mini bye. You also allowed a lot of your veteran players to get some extra rest. Cooper Kupp now isn't having to run around and practice every single day. The offensive line, they don't have to bang as much. They get a little bit of extra rest. They can be fully prepared to go to war against Tampa Bay because this game on Sunday, it's going to feel like a playoff game. Now, the biggest weakness that you're going to have, probably say it's going to be in your secondary, and it's simply because, again, you're dealing with injury issues. You have players in that secondary unit that banged up. Devin Witherspoon hasn't practiced so far this week. Julian Love hasn't practiced so far this week. You're getting Nick Emmanwori back, but, the kid's played 5 plays so far in his NFL career. So I think when you look at the injury report, it could be a lot worse. You could be Tampa Bay. Look at how long that list is. But the players that you are missing are key players. Obviously, you're going to miss DeMarcus Lawrence. That doesn't end up being as big of a deal as the secondary because everybody else in his position group is healthy. But I am interested to see how this secondary unit, are they able to continue to perform the way they have been? The big savior for you has been guys like Josh Jobe and Darian Kendrick playing better than anyone had previously expected them to play. Seahawks Forever is kind of on the same path here as Xander. Should we keep Reek Woolen for corner depth in case of an injury? Now, Seahawks Forever clearly is hanging out, or at least listening to Mitch in Seattle, because this was a take that a former radio host, now podcast host, had out there as well. When you look at the Seahawks cornerback depth chart, it's not one of the deeper ones in the league if everyone doesn't perform to the peak of their ability. This isn't an attack on anybody else, but right now, let's say that Reek Woolen does end up getting benched. Darian Kendrick is your starting nickel. Devin Witherspoon is your left corner. If there's another injury to that position group, Reek Woolen's next up. It's not Nehemiah Pritchett. You've already seen Devin Witherspoon dealing with a knee injury. And so, actually, it was a big deal that you had Reek Woolen. Reek Woolen came in and filled some of the holes that you would have had or would have been bigger holes when Devin Witherspoon was out. Look, I understand that Reek Woolen has his issues and has his mistakes. But Reek Woolen is still a good starter in the NFL. He's just not what he was his rookie year. He's frustrating. He has big key moments in lapse of judgment, I would say. But I would say that this isn't the worst idea ever. I would still love to get a good trade value out of Reek Woolen. I'm always a big believer in getting the most return, most bang for your buck. That doesn't necessarily mean that Seattle will move on from him. If everyone's only offering you a 7th rounder or like one of those pick swap deals, man, just hold on to Reek Woolen. Maybe there's going to be an injury in that position room, and you'd be happy to have him. This Sunday, your Seattle Seahawks are at home taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 3.5-point favorites. We're going to have a live watch party. Make sure that you tune in. It's going to start an hour before kickoff. You do not want to miss it. Who do you have? Let me know down below in the comments. Type C for Seahawks. Type TB for Tampa Bay. I better see a whole heck of a lot of C's down below in the chat. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We've got Seahawks videos coming out every single day for you. And if there's any late breaking news on your favorite team, I'm going to make sure I get that information out to you 12s. Until next time, I'll see you later. Boom! That was awesome! What a show! Record breaking here on Seahawks Today. Absolutely love it, man. Absolutely love it. Shout out to Ian, Brandon, and Xander. Real ones in the chat getting themselves on to the show. It's our most viewed live that we've ever had since I've taken over. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who tuned in. To those of you who sent in supers as well, thank you. We really appreciate that. Appreciate J. Malfair showing up. Skyrocket in the Philippines. What up? Shogun. I'll answer this one quick since you used the hashtag. Where would you rank our receivers amongst the rest of the teams in the NFL? I'd say you're upper half, and you're getting buoyed by Jackson Smith and Jigba. What would you say, Colin?
Yeah, I think it's, a little slept on. Obviously, Torrey Horton and, where he eventually kind of ends up as a receiver is a big part of that, obviously. Cooper Kupp, I think, week one we were really concerned. Is Cooper Kupp, kind of washed? Is he kind of, maybe past his prime a little bit? Is that 3-year contract going to maybe, bite Seattle in the butt a little bit? And he's, again, not the Super Bowl MVP that he once was, but he's still a productive player in this league. And look, Jackson Smith and Jigba has taken another step forward, as you mentioned. I mean, he is phenomenal. Second in the league in receiving yards.
100%.
And he's a stud.
Yep.
So, I think I don't know off the top of my head where I would exactly rank them, but top half feels right.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if you're quite to 10, but somewhere between 15 and 12. I think that's fair. You'd have to go through and list every single group. Some of it, too, is like the style of play you play as well.
Right.
And Seattle obviously wants to run the ball more. And, well, when you run the ball more, you throw the ball less. Brings down some of the stats that you could possibly have. All right, so we made some promises. We're going to deliver them.
Yep.
Because of the record-setting show, and because Ian and Julian and Brandon asked for it, we're going to make sure that we do, and Xander, we're going to make sure that we do a celebratory shot. I said that if we got over 100 likes, I would do jumping jacks for all of the likes the stream got. That means right now I'm going to do 109 while I'm doing that. Colin's going to race off, get the, what we call them, the tools necessary.
Yes.
Colin's going to get the tools necessary, and, well, we're going to have a good time. And I want to say thank you and then send you off on your Thursday. I appreciate every single person who showed up. I want to make sure that you all know that I love you, and I appreciate you on joining us on this record-breaking stream. If you have more questions, fire them off in the chat. I'm going to answer them while I'm doing my 109 jumping jacks to celebrate you all. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ian, shout out. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. If you have questions, spam them down in the chat. I will answer while I'm going because I think I'm now at 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. I haven't gone to the gym yet today, so this is a good warm-up. I can't wait. Do you regret promising us this? No, Ian, I don't. You guys earned it. I love celebrating for y'all. I appreciate it. What I do regret is eating Chinese food for lunch because that is weighing me down right now. And I feel like I'm going to vomit a little bit. But that's okay. Whoa. All right. We were at 61 there. Let's do this thing. Okay. We got 109. We're at 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! I did an extra one. Oh my goodness. I got him up, Ian. I got him up. Hey, we got producer Colin up here on the stream. Want to make sure we cheers. Say shout out to you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Record-breaking stream. Most viewed Seahawks Today since I've taken over. Most liked Seahawks Today since I've taken over. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the lives. We will see you guys on Sunday. Shout out. We got to stop doing vodka. We got to stop vodka. Although, it is helping my girlish figure.
It's good for the curves.
Trying to. I'll tell you what, I have to do leg day after this. If you haven't done jumping jacks in a long time, they're a lot more tiring than you think. Also would help if I had shoes on.
Probably.
See you later, Dr. Bing Bong. See you later. Bye, Ian. Shout out to all of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Colin and I will. See ya.
Peace.